What is up, guys? How are you? I hope you're having an okay day. I know Verona 2, Roma 1. We're joined today by a special guest from Roma Club DC. Tito, what's going on, man? Introduce yourself for us, please.
Yeah, thank you, Wayne, for having me today. Hi everyone. I'm Tiru. I'm one of the members at Roma Club DC. I think this is like year five. I think I've been part of Roma Club DC. So just great people to be around. Just a great family community that has been built throughout the years. And interesting enough, 10th year anniversary of Roma Club DC. So very special year. Not the best way to start it off. Can't Gotta admit that. But other than that, thank you for having me, and
Yeah,
glad to talk some Roma today.
for sure. Did you go to the club today?
Yes, so actually, I just got back from my summer vacation. So today was my first game back with everyone. So always great to see the community and the friends, and
Yeah, for
obviously
sure. I know
great to
you
see
guys
Roma.
you guys have a good community out there. I know Marco from Roma Club DC, even though he's moved. And
Mm-hmm.
I always see you guys go to, where is it called? Four Courts Tavern?
So we were initially at four courts for the majority of Roma Club's existence, but then unfortunately it got burned down last year, and so we had to scramble to find a new place. And like just out of pure coincidence, in DC, a place called In Boca Lupo opened, which is like the quintessential Roman restaurant, and it's owned by this like really this Roman owner, Romanista, obviously, Massimo. And like, I mean, if you're ever in DC, definitely go there because the pizza they have, like the firewood oven, like thin crust pizza,
Ooh.
like you like it's you have your fritti, you have your suppli, you have your
Supli, wow.
yeah, you
That's
got
that's the only
everything.
place I know of in the States serving supli. That's awesome.
Oh yeah, no, it's incredible. And so yeah, so Massimo's just been nice enough to like take us into the fold for last year, and this year as well. And also Roma Club, the Four Courts is finally reopening again, so that will be like an ongoing thing. But yeah, for now we're at In Boca Lupo, which again, shameless plug, but definitely go there because it's
Not definitely.
incredible.
I don't know if Aqua Al Due is open in Washington D.C. too, or if I'm getting them confused with their location in California. That was a good restaurant from Florence that I used to
Hmm.
like a lot. But
Hmm.
about how many people showed up today? You think?
I think today we were a good like 20, I would say.
Nice.
I was told for the opener against Salernitana, I was 44. Um, and so which was great turnout. And many of the important games we seem to have like high turnout, like many people show up. Obviously Europa League final, was like crazy. I think that was the most people I've ever seen at a Roma game. So we definitely have like people, like a lot of people who show up. And yeah, it's good that it's like a lot of the same people, so like you get to know each other and you get to like build on that Roma brotherhood more and more. So it's great.
Yeah, that's like my favorite thing. And like I will say, when I was working for CBS 2 seasons ago, the one thing that kind of started to kill me was that I wasn't around fans anymore, like people like
Mm,
myself, right? And it was like, yeah, I'm working in football and I'm doing this and it's cool doing stats and whatever, running over to talent and Bonetti and Dre Cordero and giving them info. But you know, and then Roma won the Conference League and they got, they did very well. They had some big games. They may have even won the Derby that year. And I remember not being at Roma Club New York and how it made me feel. And I really
hmm.
felt like I was truly missing out. So
Yeah.
when you speak about community, that is a big part of this, part of this, and especially when things don't go bad and after the things don't go right and after the match you get together with your boys and whoever's there, your family, whoever might be there, but your community, you have a
Hmm.
drink or you talk, and it's nice to have that,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah,
it's cool.
exactly. I mean,
Cool to be.
that's what Roma is all about. Like, we're not a team that wins like three trophies a year. We're not like competing for the Scudetto year in, year out. So, like the whole point of it is just like it's a togetherness. It's like it's about us. It's about the fans. It's about the unconditional love, and sharing it with someone else who you've never met, who you have no idea who they are. You've like just met them, and you know that there's one thing that like connects you, and that's Associazione Sportiva Roma. It's the brand, it's the team, it's Totti, it's like everything you know about Roma that connects you, and then you go from there. Like, yeah, it's great.
Yeah, no, that's
I
great.
love
And I
it.
see you've got the vintage kit on.
Yes, this is the Batistuta kit
Oh wait,
after.
that's legit. That's real.
Yeah, I mean, I bought it like on the. I mean, I bought it on the AS Roma website. It's not actually Batistuta worn.
But okay, no, but it's not. Is it vintage or is it the new vintage version that they were selling?
Oh, I guess you could call it the new vintage. I guess you
Yeah,
could
but it's
call it
cool.
the.
I saw it
Yeah,
in the
no, I
Roma
love
store.
the.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah,
It's I'm surprised. Like, I wonder how they did that. I wonder if they brokered a deal with Kappa, because if New Balance was the equipment sponsor, how did they get away with selling Kappa? But I wonder how they did that. But speaking of shirts, that seems like the one positive that many fans took away from today is that,
Yes.
the SPQR was the highlight of the match here as I'm scrolling through the comments. We've got Vincent in here. We've got Great with Moms, who gives you a shout out.
Hey,
We got my
nice
mother-in-law.
handle.
Hi, Tanya. Andrea Spezzamonte says you're his
This
best
is one of my close friends from back home.
friend. That's awesome. You got fans here, man. People
Oh,
are showing up
I
here.
guess I must have plugged the link and they just spread. There's another friend,
I like that.
Franco.
Exactly. The one thing that I think that we should look at before we really hit the comments here, and guys, keep putting in comments, throw some likes up there as well before we get into the finer details of this match. I do want to take a look at the stats.
Yeah, which I preemptively looked at just because out of the rage and
Yeah.
not
So
good.
my buddy Marco, Marco Pilato, who's now in Roma Club Los Angeles or LA.
Mhm.
I know there's like 2 rival clubs or something out there. But he pointed out to me, and I said on Twitter, I'm disappointed. I didn't like the result. I didn't like the individual errors. And he said, yeah, but at the same time, football is cruel in that we look at the shots here, 23 compared to 5, 7 shots on target. How many corners? 12.
12, yeah. Which was I saw like 90 minutes in and we said with 12 corners.
It's annoying, man. It just seems like Roma has these situations. What did you make of it? Is it a negative match? Is it just growing pains? Is it bad luck? What are your takeaways from today?
So I will preface this by saying it's early doors. So we're 2 games into the season. We are clearly changing some of our nature. Because I noticed like this whole game, we were not defensive in any way. You can ask anyone at the club. I was the first one to complain about how passive and how speculative we could be, how comfortable we were off the ball, and we preferred to be off the ball rather than on the ball last season. And this season, I see an approach to change that. I see a few more passing combinations in the middle of the park. I see that they're trying to work the ball into the box, but maybe it's time to face the fact that we are not that kind of team. I would like to say that I would like to think that we are that, because I think that's the way to go forward in terms of challenging for top 4. But again, definitely, I mean, bad luck. Like, is that even surprising anymore? Like we hit like 3 posts in the first 2 games. I believe expected goals was like 2 for us and like 0.9 for Hellas. So I mean, bad luck. Like, sure, like I'm not even going to like sort of delve into that, because maybe that's just football. But I mean, I saw some very like just stupid mistakes that um I wouldn't expect Verona to punish us on that. I would
Yeah.
expect like Inter and Milan and Napoli to like finish those off. But if Verona's punishing us, then things we have to fix something.
Yeah, then what's Lautaro Martinez going to do?
Yeah, exactly. Like if Smalling is getting turned by Cyril Ngonge, who I had no idea who he was
Never heard of him.
before this game, except for I remember he scored he scored a goal against Lazio, I think, last year, maybe that. And so that's that's like the main issue. It's like the concentration. It's like the sort of the more the mental side of it, because I thought we played fine. I thought we actually we had many shots on target, but we had actions. We were creating. We were keeping Verona in their own half. We just two mistakes and we lost the plot.
Forces you into a plan B. And I don't think that Mourinho's plan B is ever where he wants to be, because then it really does force him to play a completely different strategy, from what he anticipated going into this match, which is, I saw it. And as soon as that goal went in, I was like, bro, this is now you're in Verona, you're in the Bentegodi, hot stadium, it's violent. That crowd, that atmosphere is vicious for sure. And my feeling was, oh, now Roma's really got their work cut out for them. And we can pinpoint Smalling. And yes, like I agree with everybody, like that shouldn't happen one-on-one. However, Smalling was also left one-on-one. It's not simply the matter of he couldn't handle him one-on-one. Why was he put in a position to be with a 24-year-old wing forward one-on-one? That's like that. You never want your sweeper to be in that situation. Like,
he's not that kind of defender. He thrives on like anticipating and like he's always like man marking like the main striker.
Yeah.
So he's always like that kind of defender. He's not someone who's going to run down 50 meters and then like just sort of slide tackle you and go. Like
that's exactly it. Yeah, he's not Indica. He's not even Ibanez.
No, exactly.
For sure. We got a bunch of comments coming in. Let's check out what James Chen says here.
See the Rui slander begins.
Yeah, I felt that this was going to bite us, and I think we've spoken on a couple episodes recently about Rui's decline. And I look at somebody who's about the same age with Ochoa, and I see a guy who's leading his team, Salernitana. Would that same player be doing it in Rome? Maybe, but I do think that Rui definitely has his deficiencies right now, which have come about with age. I don't think there is a quick fix. I mean, we've got 4 days left until the Mercato ends. I don't know how much cash is available to be spent. I look at Falcone for Lecce, right? Decent keeper. There's other guys who could probably fill a need, but it doesn't seem like that's happening. Like, and as James points out here, like De Gea, yeah, we'd love to get De Gea, but
I mean, you could argue De Gea is in the same position as Rui, though.
Like making mistakes. You tell me.
Yeah, I mean, from what I understand, he with his age, he has lost his explosivity too. So, like, maybe he's not gonna be Rui level in terms of like mistakes leading up to goals, but I mean, that would be like an identical replacement almost. Like Rui Patricio is almost reminding me of last season's Handanovic, or 2 seasons ago Handanovic. Like there's a whole meme in Italian like Serie A football. It's like Handanovic does the laser save because he's like watching the ball just like go into the net.
Yeah,
like it's that kind of like sort of like passiveness. So
for sure.
I don't know.
Yeah. And Father Time's not stopping for him.
No.
So next year, is it in January that Rui becomes a number 2 and Svilar goes out on loan, or is it until next summer? And that
I really would have tried to grab Bono from Sevilla, or I guess he's not at Sevilla anymore. I think he went to Saudi, but I think I thought he was impressive in his time.
There's guys out there, and I look at teams like Napoli who have this brilliant scouting network, even Lazio, or like take Ngonje, for instance. This dude played in the second Belgian league prior to coming to Verona. Like, where did you scout him from? How did you even know about him? Like, you're scouting the second Belgian league? Like, okay, but it paid off.
But
It,
I feel like you have to have like a sort of more in-depth discussion about this whole like project around Roma in terms of scouting, because I think we have the GM Tiago Pinto, who is like he will always go for that like scouted gem from like the third division of Armenia or something. And but then we have a coach who is not very prone to giving them game time, letting them do mistakes, sort of grow into the role a bit. Like I feel like Mourinho is someone who you need to give him ready-made, like sort of established players for him to fit into his system and then go from there.
Yeah, unless he gets forced into that injury role, and either like you do or you die in that situation. Like as a young player, that's not, the one thing that I like about Mourinho is he's spoken about that in the past 2 seasons. Like, this is a new type of situation for me where I do have to nurture those guys. Does he want to do that? I don't think so. Mourinho wants to win the Champions League. He wants to win Serie A. And he sure as hell didn't do that with Inter. He wasn't grooming youth products. And to be fair, neither is Pep Guardiola or any other top manager who's winning leagues and major trophies. They're not just, maybe they get one guy and he gets spare minutes when City's up 2-3-0, and there's no risk and it's low pressure. Like Roma doesn't have that fortunate, not fortunate, what, how do you say it? Like privilege. They don't have that privilege to do that, but I keep hearing from Vincent here, Falcone, and D'Amico here. He's a little upset about the creativity in the final third. He says we don't have enough guys that can break vertical lines. When we make good runs in the offensive third, we always go back and recycle the ball instead of bringing the ball into dangerous areas. And is that not maybe a wonder as to why Aouar did not start today? And I know somebody commented that before. And you see Aouar come on in the second half, and James
game changer
points. Yeah, game changer. Scores. Not only does he create, but he makes the goal. Like he actually did it. So it's
I guess to that comment, like I expected Pellegrini to be that guy. I mean, he's a number 10.
Yeah,
like that's what he's supposed to be. That's what he's supposed to do. But I thought bar that one shot that he had where he he had a nice like feint around the player and shot it wide, and then the free kick where he hits the post. Like I thought he had a very poor game. I thought he was not able to pull off any of like the one-time passes that like cut the defense, like sort of send someone into space like near the box. I just thought he was just out of shape, out of touch.
Yeah, limited. Definitely like just kind of going through the motions, not totally in it, like not hyped up. Yeah, not super motivated. And it's strange because we've seen this before at this point. We've got a good point here from Ioannis, who's a really informed poster, and he does a good job reading the game. And he says, I feel like the fact that we're pressing higher is requiring our defense to readapt their positioning. So maybe this is true. Now the fact that Roma did have to press, the defense is like getting a little bit of a different feel for where their line is and how their structure is. There's probably some truth to that.
The only defender who was quick enough to play a high line, we sold. So like it's clear that like Mancini, Smalling, Llorente, who I wasn't too disappointed by, they all seem like players who maybe just need to play a tad lower, but because they don't have that like quick acceleration to like either sprint back and like hold the line down. But I mean, I guess that's adaptation I hope that will improve as the games go by.
Yeah, I hope so. And Vincent brings up a point here. And what I was just saying about Pellegrini is I think Vincent's right here about his effort, but execution is not what we saw. Effort, yeah, I did think he was trying his hardest. I did think he was trying to pump up his team by example, but it's the execution to me, which which didn't work out today. And Matt Campea posts a question here too. Let me ask you, Thiru, does Awar start over Pellegrini by the end of this season?
I really doubt it, but not from a I think Pellegrini is better than Awar standpoint, but just from like the leadership standpoint. I don't think Mourinho benches the captain. I mean, just based on how Mourinho has spoken about him, like he says, if I had three Pellegrinis, all three of them would play. So I don't see him being benched. I wouldn't find any reason for him to be benched in terms of like he's definitely not someone detrimental to us, to our system, to our style of play, to our results. He just needs to be much better than what we've seen. Because on his day, he is definitely a key player, and he can be a star in this league. But he just needs to be fitter. He just needs to be quicker. He needs to be sharper. He maybe just needs to get back into the groove again. Early doors. I don't think he's gonna lose his position to Awad. I would love to see them together. That would be fun.
That was my next question. Do you think it's possible for them? Is there a module or a formation which would allow them both to play together?
I think the only way I could see them maybe play together is if you like try and go like Christmas tree, and then like you have your striker, hoping it's some Belgian dude, and then again we have Pellegrini and Dybala behind the striker, and then Awad plays as one of the three midfielders, with like Cristante or Paredes and Renato Sanchez.
Mm-hmm.
Again, kind of light, kind of on the sort of on the less physical side, but I think that's one way I could see them play together. But I mean, I think they would combine great. I think that would help Pellegrini a lot. Just have someone who can take the onus more on like sort of breaking those lines, and then Pellegrini can have more time on the ball. He can be much more free, much more expressive, which is, we've seen sparks of that. We've seen moments of Lorenzo, like, really like showing like high technical ability and like, just great quality on the ball.
Yeah, it's funny because when you mention that, the first thing that comes to mind is his performances with the national team, where he tends to just play so much more free and almost like happy in a way. Whereas in this style of play, it seems like this edginess, this grittiness doesn't really benefit him. It's like the opposite of the way he wants to play.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not necessarily like Mourinho hater, but definitely chalk it up to him. Like that's his style. That's who he is. That's like, it's about grinding out results. It's about like, suffering and like sort of holding the line as long as you can with all of your strength, all of your might. I was actually talking about it recently, I think yesterday, with some of the Roma Club DC people, and just saying he can't be running. He can't be the player who's like tracking back runners. Like that's not the player he is. He's someone who's supposed to run forward, like have the ball thrown into him, like play quick combination passes. He's not supposed to be the one like who in I maybe you remember Roma Venezia, like it was the match like before the Conference League final, I think, where like we're losing or like we're tying 1-1, and if we lose that game, we don't even qualify for Europa League. And Venezia is like on an open counter attack with Rui Patricio has completely missed the striker, and it's Pellegrini who has like run 80 meters at the 90th minute, come into slide tackle, and stop the goal. Now, A+ for effort. Love to see that. I would love to see many other Roma midfielders do that, but that's not what we want to see Pellegrini do, because we know that as soon as he's like in that groove, as you were seeing in the national team, like he can be special. Like he can be really special.
Agreed. Looking into this formation that happened today, as far as players, is there anybody that you would replace or substitute, barring Sanchez? Let's say he's out of the equation because he was not eligible today. Are there
Yeah,
any replacements that you would make here in this starting 11?
I think I would have played Awar immediately instead of Paredes, and I think
Switch
that's
Cristante to the holding midfielder?
yeah. Just put Cristante as a central DM, and then you have Pellegrini and Awar as like your mezzala,
Mm-hmm.
your midfielders, and go from there. I think that was the main issue, just in terms of Paredes was doing a lot of what Cristante did last year, but Cristante wasn't doing a lot of what Matic did last year, which is,
Mm-hmm.
like this is like the sort of the similar formation. Matic was very good at breaking, at like playing those vertical passes and sort of winning the ball back. And Cristante is just not. He's not like a ball winning midfielder. He's just more someone who, like, he likes to dictate the play. He likes to play long passes. He likes to sort of orchestrate a bit more. But I don't think they can play together in that sense. That's why I would have had either Cristante or Paredes, honestly. But more Cristante, just because he knows this team better. Just put in Awar, and maybe something different would have happened. Who knows?
Yeah, it's fair. I think it's a really good assessment. Spend brings up, why wasn't Renato in the squad today? He was injured. And then Joe also says, who is that box to box player? There isn't one who's somebody who's agile, and that's supposed to be Renato.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Until we find
And
a replacement.
he's I'm guessing he's also missing the Friday game, so he's out for until after national break at
Yeah,
least.
and Sven is not too optimistic about Friday here. He thinks we're gonna get smoked. So
Oh, well, I already thought that it was not gonna end well with Milan after I saw them at Bologna, but now now I'm worried. Now I'm worried. It's not only that we're gonna lose, but I'm worried that we're just like we know that we won't have enough, and it's just going to be so apparent. It's just going to be so, the difference is going to be so stark, which is my real worry. But who
Milan
knows?
today played with such a peacefulness about them. In the first half, they
They
looked really boring, but then they just turned on the Jets, man. Pulisic looks really good.
hmm
And who else was like standout? Teo Hernandez had a filthy little chip with his
I
left
mean,
foot.
that left flank is it that might be one of the best in Europe.
Yeah,
That might be one of the best in Europe.
yeah.
Like
Leao,
that was
Pulisic swings over. Theo, their midfield's quality.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Milan's no joke, but the one thing I notice about this Roma is when the odds are stacked against them, that's when they tend to show up. So,
hmm
against all that, against the bookmakers, let's be
Definitely.
hopeful.
Definitely.
So,
Pact Olimpico.
yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
I think that's exactly it, man. That's what we need.
That'd be
What
a
do you
nice
guys think?
boost.
What do you guys think out there? You think Tito should be back? I think for sure. I think he's really good at reading the game. It's been so. We thank you. Thanks. I'm not kicking you out. I'm just saying thank
Oh,
you
yeah,
for
no. Thank you for having
thank
me.
you for
No, I
coming on today. Um,
always
anyway, I'm just
always
reading
good to
some.
talk about.
Yeah, I know. It's sometimes it's like these defeats. Like for me to just do it by myself is like I feel like a clown at the circus. When they throw tomatoes at him and like get him off the
Uh,
stage. I'm just reading some reports about who said this. Mancini. Yeah, that it's unacceptable. He says difficult start. We struggled. Roma with 1 point after 2 rounds is acceptable. And that unfortunate also pops in here too. 2 crossbars. Dybala goes off with a muscle injury. Zalewski then goes off. And he was
yeah.
asked, "Are we missing Ibanez?" So he's a player you all criticized a great deal in the past, but he's gone now, and we simply have to progress. Ugh, making a lot of people eat their words.
Yeah, I've seen, like, I'm sure if it was Ibanez against Ngonj on that second goal, like I don't think Ibanez even lets him near the box, but that's just because that's how quick he is. That's how, like, he was on that left side, right? It was
Mm-hmm.
Ibanez holding Mancini. So I thought like we are really gonna struggle in terms of like dealing with these sort of rapid wingers who try and just like take the deep run and chase the ball. And if we continue to play with a high line, clearly, if we like sort of not necessarily revert back to last season where we were literally standing inside our own box, which was not convenient, but just a bit more, just a bit lower, just to be a bit more careful. I'm sure, like, and plus we lost this game. We've learned that we should not keep a high line like that. So, you know, just learn.
Yeah.
Just learn
Some
from
learning
that.
lessons. And it's also important to remember Mourinho is not on the touchline right now, which kind of stinks.
No, no, no. And the one friend was pointed out that we have won 1 out of 12 games with Bruno Conti on our bench, which is just really unfortunate. Just really unfortunate because he's a talisman. He's like one of the greatest to ever wear a Roma jersey.
Yeah, true. Legend to get his name shoved in the mud like that as a manager.
Yeah.
SP brings in a good point here, and about Milan having 4 Chelsea players. So they're kind of using that same tactic of getting guys who didn't work out in England, bringing them over. We see Roma use this tactic, and in the transfer window, and we're kind of becoming, in some ways, Serie A. I don't want to say it's a feeder club to England, but there's definitely a good amount of teams in Italy who would be wise to use English players, or Premier League players rather, that aren't working out there, because we see like someone like Adamo Lookman come over. He's killing it. He scored over like something 15 goals and a bunch of assists last season. I think it was actually more than that.
And on a bargain as well, like 10 mil.
Ridiculous.
10 mil. Like,
dude couldn't be contained.
No. One thing I notice is just Premier League, the rhythm. It's the intensity that, if you look at the top teams, like they're playing at such a pace, which is so fierce and so ruthless and so aggressive, that even the players who fall by the wayside, which are players that come into our league, for example, even they look like monsters.
They look like racehorses.
And these are the people who are rejects almost. So that's also
like James Madison came over, he would dominate Serie A.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Anyway, we're just over a half hour, guys. We're gonna wrap it up there. I think Tiro covered a lot for us and put a lot of good things into perspective. I thank everybody for jumping on in a kind of a sad, annoying, frustrating day, writing in comments, leaving likes, subscriptions for new heads who've come on by. I can't wait, hopefully, to get down to DC soon. I would really like to see you guys for a game. It's only about 3.5 hours.
Sure, absolutely. You're totally welcome. We would love to have you.
We'll do a live stream from Roma Club DC. But I'm going to end it here, man. We're going to go our own ways, and we'll see you around, right?
Sounds good. Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure talking about Roma.
Anytime.
If there's a next time, we're talking about Roma completely battering Club Milan, America Club Milan. So
yeah,
hopefully.
Sounds good, man. We'll talk soon.
All right. Thank you. Have a good night.
Bye, guys.
Ciao. Bye, guys.